Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to honorable judges, punctual timekeeper, ladies and gentlemen. I am standing here today to deliver a speech on an issue that had been going on for years, even decades in our community. Abuse, a five-letter word that we all hear too often, be it power, drug, physical, mental, sexual, or even the topic that we're highlighting today, which is about child abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to bring adequate attention to this tragedy, we must understand what child abuse is and what we can do to prevent it. The World Health Organization (WHO) 2006 defines child abuse and neglect as all forms of physical and/or of emotional ill treatment, sexual abuse, neglect or negligent treatment, or commercial or other exploitation resulting in actual or potential harm to the child's health, survival, development, or dignity in the context of a relationship of responsibility, trust, or power. Based on the report by the Women and Community Development Ministry had recorded in 2021, there was 2,040 child abuse cases in just for the first 4 months of that year, where 35% of those cases had involved neglect and around another 30% were incidents of physical and sexual abuse. The ministry had also tracked a total of 5,836 child abuse cases that happened in 2020. There were 6,382 reported cases in 2019 and 6,274 cases in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that in Malaysia, according to a child rights activist, it was stated that 1 in 10 children are likely to be a victim of emotional, physical, or sexual abuse? According to James Nayagam of the Suryana Welfare Society, said that the lockdown to curb COVID-19 had been imposed at the expense of children's safety. Before this, children could leave the house and be away from the abuses. But now, both mother and child are sometimes at the abuser's mercy, and there is no way for the children to immediately reach out for help when tension at home is on the rise. Among the contributing factors, he said, was the toll on mental health attributable to the pandemic and the economic devastation it had wrought. The child abuse cases and stories straight from the newspapers can help to highlight how common child abuse is so that everyone may be more likely to report suspected child abuse and neglect. Ladies and gentlemen, almost 3 decades have passed since the horrifying death of 15-month-old baby Bala Sundram who was allegedly beaten to death by his mother's boyfriend. Despite the awareness efforts by the government and private sectors, child abuse continues to dominate the headlines frequently. Sadly, baby Bala Sundram's story had been repeated time and again in the last 3 decades in places that children should feel safest in their homes, schools, neighborhoods, or even the care of nannies. To illustrate the frequency of such alleged abuse, here are some reported cases that have been happened in the span of just a year. Abuse of 9-month-old boy who dies in Cebu, January 2019. A 9-month-old toddler who was in critical condition after being allegedly abused by his own babysitter died at the Cebu hospital on Sunday. The victim was rushed to the hospital after his parents found him in a weak condition after picking him up from the nanny's house. A medical examination confirmed that the victim had suffered from bleeding in the brain and fractures on the left side of the skull. It had also been reported that the 39-year-old female babysitter had been operating the child care center without a license. Recently, the nation was also shocked after it was found that Rumah Bonda founder Siti Bainun Ahmad Razali had been abusing Bella, a girl with Down syndrome who was placed under her care. It was said that Siti Bainun had been abusing Bella for almost 4 months between March and June last year. During the court proceedings, disturbing details started emerging on how Bella was abused, where she was scalded and her food was spiked with vinegar and chili. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask for your opinion on what can we do to prevent this tragedy from happening. As an adult, or even a child if you are listening to my speech, we should take action to end this epidemic. As a community, these are a few steps that I believe we can take to prevent child abuse. Firstly, be keen to spot the signs. Recognizing child abuse is the first step of helping exploited children. However, it is hard when it is verbal abuse and neglect. It is vital to keep in mind that child abuse is real and look for any symptoms such as social withdrawal, seems afraid of parent, and withdrawal to touch. Remember, most victims of child abuse are afraid of speaking out because the abusers threaten to hurt them if they let the cat out of the basket. Secondly, raise awareness. As the adage goes, knowledge is power. Most cases of child abuse happen because many people don't know some things they see can be classified as abuse. Educate the individuals on all types of violence and educate them to advocate against child abuse. You may also help other parents realize that they have been unconsciously hurting their children. As an example, by punishing them too harshly because of a small mistake they made. Talk about child abuse at your place of work, schools, social platforms, and every other chance you get. As a conclusion to my speech, child abuse is a serious matter. With recent cases that involve grievous injury or even the death of a child, whether in the hands of a nanny or their own family, we need to step up our effort in preventing this situation. Children are our future, so please provide a safe environment for them to grow up in and make this world a better place. With this, I end my speech. Thank you.